after opening up my restaurant in Jakarta, E&O, I thought, why not do a big smelly durian, as that's what Jakarta is named after. This is one of the most signature dishes that I do in Jakarta, and they love it. They come from miles away to have this thing, and if you love durian, you love it, and if you hate it, you hate it. There's no in the middle of yeah, maybe, it's love it or don't. So if we open up this durian, and you can see the creaminess of this stuff. So what we're going to do is basically blend this up with a little bit of milk, cream. I've de-seeded the durian, then I've got a little bit of gelatin here, and then some sugar, and we're going to boil that all up, reduce it down a little bit to create this wonderful, silky, smooth durian panna cotta. So let's just place my spiky durian over here. Right, so take a bowl, and we use some gelatin. You can use powdered gelatin as well, that's no problem. But I'm just going to use 3.5 sheets in there. I'm going to mix a little bit of warm water. Don't do hot water, do warm, because you want to slowly dissolve it. Just mix that in. Let the gelatin leaves just soften up. Grab a bowl, because if you leave it in too long, of course it's going to dissolve into nothing. Strain off that water. And now you're left with that gelatin. Now in the meantime, start blending. So I'm going to add in my durian here. Make sure you take the seeds out. And then add in half the milk. That's just going to help blend it. This is going to make it a bit more easier and give a bit of liquid in there. Otherwise the durian's not going to blend. And let that blend slowly. Okay, so now this is finished. Just take this out. It's important that you strain it because durian is also quite fibrous, and you don't want a fibrous panna cotta. You want a nice, silky, smooth kind of dish. And I'm straining it into the gelatin. So just scrape it off here, and then we're going to add all this into the pan. Make sure you don't waste anything because pastry ingredients are very, very detailed, and if you miss a certain amount of grammage or weight, it completely changes everything. So now I'm going to add in my cream, also add in the rest of my milk, I'm also going to add in my sugar. Okay, so just stir that through and then add this into the pan. Put everything in here, the gelatin, turn it on, and it's very important with this dish not to boil the milk because otherwise it will split or curdle, so to speak. When you're doing panna cotta, that perhaps you don't use a whisk, because if you use one, it will aerate the milk and then you'll get bubbles on your panna cotta, which you don't want. You want a really nice, smooth kind of texture. Okay, so I've cooked this for about 10 to 12 minutes, and now I'm just going to strain it off again. And it's important that you strain it off because sometimes you might get a little bit of the milk that also has just split slightly, or there we go. And then what is really, really important is you get basically an ice bath. So ice, a little bit of water in here, and just enough to settle your bowl in there. And then we're just going to pour that in. And that's just going to chill down the process a lot quicker. Just move it around. And then you just put it in the freezer for about 20 minutes to cheat, or you can just put it in the fridge for about an hour and a half. But if you do put it in the freezer, be very careful that you don't leave it too long and it starts to freeze and get ice crystals in there. Now I'm going to pour this back into my cup here, measuring cup. And then grab my glasses here. Here we are. And then we'll just pour our beautiful panna cotta into our jugs. And again, you don't want to make them too full because panna cotta can be really, really filling as well. So this is just a nice sort of piece de resistance at the end of the meal, so to speak. And you want to set it for probably about an hour to an hour and a half. You want it nice and firm. So the final part of this dish is actually doing the durian cream. So what it is just durian, a little bit more gelatin, and of course, some nice coconut cream. If you don't have cream, then you can use Cara and just dilute it, probably maybe 1:1, I would say. So I'm just gonna mix my coconut cream and my durian together. I'm going to throw it in the blender over here. Pour this in here. Turn this on. Give it a blend. I pour a little bit of water into my gelatin. Just dissolve it slightly. Mix it around. There you go. And then turn this off. Then pour your cream and milk into here. Add in your gelatin. Stir it through. Just do it on a very low heat. You don't want a high heat at all. So it becomes like a nice sort of creamy texture in there. I'm just going to put a hint of salt in here just because I want that coconut to come out, that lovely coconut taste. It's not much, it's a tiny bit. You don't want it to be too salty. And then we'll just pop this into here and we'll add this in when chilled down and the panna cottas are nice and firm. We'll place this on top and then basically it'll be ready to serve. And this is just looking absolutely perfect. Just the right amount of gelatin in there. I'm happy with this. So the finishing touches, very simple. Just grab a little bit of cream in there. Just mix that in. And this is just a beautiful topping to the silky texture. Just gonna add a little bit of mint in here. And look at that firm panna cotta. It's really important as well that it's not too solid, and this has got just the amount of wobble on it. So let's have a taste. Oh, that's fantastic.